exactly as art? Is it a brick? Is it a dirty nappy? Is it an oil painting? You know, there's so many questions about things. And it's the same as on the streets. It's like, who has put that over? Who's that? You know, who's doing these little things? You know, what's that thing that's at the bus stop there?
Well, in a way, it's just the same as every other street artist, really. I mean, we're just using the street as a gallery. They are signatures in themselves, so they are a tag in themselves, so it does mean people do say, oh, the potato guy. I mean, the idea of on the top of the bus shelters was a lot to do with people travelling to and from work, etc., and having the monotony as well. So I started to leave just plain potatoes with circles on them out. And then that sort of progressed into making them as noticeable as possible, but obviously they're just like a sort of a tag. The idea of making objects that then have their own natural lifespan and then they're gone has always attracted me. A lot of street art is very graphic based. I mean, I just think the more abstract sculpture was something that wasn't really covered, so my work sort of evolved in that way. There was something about suspect devices and leaving things, don't leave things unattended, and the idea then of sculpture being sort of a danger. Art can be serious, but I mean, there is serious sides to it. But it's also, I've got to motivate myself to do it. I'm not really a dour person. There was a lot of speculation, people thinking that there were devices to record the buses, to sort of little space aliens.
I'm writing the word exciting around the outside of 333. It started about 3 years ago, and my original intention was to write my name across 4 shutters, and I painted 2 E's underneath a nightclub, which I thought was quite funny. And I was looking at the photographs of the shutters, and I was just like, you know what, if I write my name, it's going to ruin it. My name's quite boring, graffiti's quite boring. Just by making it more abstract, by not signing my name and just random letters for no reason, it just became more interesting. You know, street art's a lot more user-friendly. The general public like it, or, you know, a percentage of them like it, whereas graffiti is graffiti for the sake of graffiti, and, you know, graffiti writers don't care what other people think. You know, you'll be walking down the road and one day, bang, something new's appeared. So I like that surprise element. I think that's fun, and, you know, you cheer people up.
Through doing graffiti, it got me through the whole thing with art college and got me interested in art. I didn't really know much about art, but then I got more into painting, I got more into sculpture, I got into printmaking, so it sort of, you know, made me aware of all these other things. It's like we've become like educated vandals. On the painting side, I work in a number of mediums, so it could be from oil to aerosol to household paint, so it's just like, but mainly, you know, I specialise in oil, but then, you know, on the street side, it's just whatever I can get my hands hold of. I think today we're going to put up something like that. Through meeting Cyclops, he was painting the skulls, I was doing the teeth, and we just jammed them together. And it's that whole thing of collaboration, you know, it's working as a collaborative team. And in the studio, you know, usually in the studio you're on your own. On the streets it's more spontaneous, you're there and you've got a limited amount of time to paint it. You know, it's sort of the excitement's there, the adventure's there, you never know how it's going to go, and the audience is there straight away. As the scene goes as a whole in London, it's getting bigger, people are getting over bigger, people are being more surprising, people are being more cheeky, people are being more imaginative. So in general, I think it's a good scene, the London scene, and, you know, it was always inspiring to me.
I think it's more about being able to show the work in a good environment, whether it's something that's suited to, you know, a dingy Dickensian basement, or whether it's something that's suited to something monumental. In the last 10 years, been putting up a lot of stuff on the streets, and now it seems like it's nice to be able to put stuff up that's going to last for, you know, slightly longer. If you do a really, really nice piece, you know, sometimes, and it gets destroyed within a few days, it's a real shame.
The gallery and the street should coexist. I don't think they're mutually exclusive. And I think the gallery offers an opportunity to artists to explore different mediums, different techniques, different finishes that they can't necessarily explore when they're working in the street.
I believe that galleries and museums and these kind of places complements the works of people who paint on the streets, you know.
As an artist that puts work in the street, you want it to last as long as you possibly can. You want it to be there for indefinitely, forever. You know, realistically, you know, by putting it in the street, that's not going to be the case.
I like the idea to have the ephemeral part of my work and something that's gonna stay for a long time.
I think the whole nature of all of this is, it's just another form of conflict. There's a conflict of people who want to turn it into commodity. There's a conflict of people who want to take things that are supposed to be free, peel them off the walls, put them onto a canvas, and then put a price tag on them.
What we do with the gallery here is that we bring people down that wouldn't necessarily be paying attention to work in the street, and then we say this artist is a street artist or a graffiti artist or uses the public space to display their work.
Well, most of the artists I've actually got in here are friends of mine that I've worked with on the street. So it's people, not people that I go, they'd be commercially viable. It's more people who I go, I like their stuff, and also I like their attitude.
As an artist, you want to live and survive as an artist, and that's, you know, the greatest thing as an artist, to be able to fund yourself to live and continue to produce work.
You know, it's been a dream of mine to sell my own stuff and make a living doing that. So, you know, I've got, you know, fantastic opportunities, and it's great. But, you know, I kind of think we present ourselves as street artists, and to do that, you have to have a presence on the street.
I don't think street art is going to ever gain the level of credibility and seriousness which makes for long-term art market prices. See, that it's doubtful that you're going to end up with a Banksy retrospective at the Tate.
I think there's a long history of this art in the art world, and hopefully what this show helps to do is highlight the big crossover between other genres and other moments in art history and other artists in art history that have taken inspiration from the street and from ephemeral art.
I think it's really important that the museums get involved at this point in time, because they involve the people who have been doing it for a long time and know what they're doing, and they start representing these shows to the wider audience, to the wider public.
What I think is great about this show is that it gives these artists and this art form, it gives them the recognition which has maybe not been afforded them before.
It's good that this kind of art is recognized now. Obviously the street art scene is like increasing a lot, and it's the fact that the Tate is inviting us. For my part, I think it's good, but as long as you still work in the street.
I think one thing that's been really nice as well is with this whole process is that the public have been able to see the work going up, but to actually see something, you know, being made in front of you. It's almost like a magic trick, but done in reverse or something.
I think that this kind of art don't need no institutions to happen, you know. You have a whole city to work with.
Once you do take street art off the art,
what I find a bit sort of ridiculous about street art, especially when you see what kind of Banksy and some of those other kind of characters are doing, the content of their messages is so sort of obvious. They're making money out of a pose, and the pose is rebellion. But that was always the first thing that you could sell back to rebels, you know. That's the joke. Once you've got a market, an art market, that's decided that it can sell something to people, that it's got interest from collectors, it's going to do as much as it possibly can to pump that up.
This is Banksy, behind me, 130, 140, it's 160.
The best way to describe the market is it's young, it's new, it's exciting.
190,000.
I think Banksy really kick-started the market, firstly through the high-profile media attention he's given to urban art,